On this episode of BOI Weekly, the Executive Director, Medium, Small and Micro-Scale Enterprises of the Bank of Industry, Waheed Olagunju, gives an account of the bank's influence on small businesses in the country. In this interview, I also took him up on the alleged scarcity of raw materials needed for most production processes in Nigeria.
I don't understand what you mean by scarcity of raw materials. So it's just that most people are not aware of the availability of the raw materials in the environment and what to do with the raw materials.
Also on the program, the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development signs a memorandum of understanding with the Bank of Industry to establish 10 rice and 6 cassava mills across the country, worth about 13.6 billion naira.
These 10 integrated rice mills will each have capacity of 36,000 metric ton capacity. So which means all of them will be total of 360,000 metric ton capacity. So you have an understanding of how huge this investment really is.
Cultural sector due to limited processing and preservation capacity. This results in high food prices and food importation with its attendant effects on the nation's foreign reserves. To enable Nigerians optimize the benefits from the country's vast agricultural products such as cassava, oil palm, rice, tomatoes and others, the Bank of Industry has launched a 5 billion naira cottage agro-processing fund, the CAP Fund. Customers can access the fund to establish plans to process our various agro-produce into food products or intermediate raw materials for industries at a single-digit interest rate of 9% per annum. For more information on the CAP Fund, please visit www.boinigeria.com/capfund. Bank of Industry, developing Nigeria's agro-processing industry through the CAP Fund.
Mr. Waheed Olagunju, thanks a lot for joining us.
It's all right. Thank you very much.
Accounting for your role as the Executive Director, MSMEs in the bank, how much has changed and what are the new developments in this area?
Well, sequel to the change in leadership in May 2014, the new managing director felt the need for the operations directorate of the bank to be reorganized in line with the federal government's development initiatives. You will recall that in February, the president launched 2 programs, the National Industrial Revolution Plan and the National Enterprise Development Program, known as NEDEP for short. NEDEP is aimed at addressing the challenges of MSMEs in Nigeria and seeing how best their potentials could be harnessed in the country, while NIRP deals majorly with the large firms. So at the Bank of Industry, we've aligned our operations, to be consistent with this development. So we have an executive directorate in charge of large enterprises that is mainly faced with the responsibility of implementing the NIRP within the context of the Bank of Industry's operations, and then the executive directorate in charge of small and medium, micro, small and medium enterprises, charged with the responsibility of implementing the NEDEP, which is the National Enterprise Development Program. And then again, the new management felt the Bank of Industry hadn't done as much as you do in the area of supporting small and medium enterprises. So we have assigned a task to ourselves of ensuring that MSMEs account for, in the first instance, about 30% of the bank's risk assets. And this is because of the multiplier effects of MSMEs, their developmental impact. Per unit of investment, if you invest, for example, 5 billion naira under the CAP fund that we have, we're targeting the creation of 20,000 jobs. That's looking at 4,000 jobs per billion. You could lend the entire 5 billion to a large firm that will not generate 1,000 jobs, So the multiplier effects per unit of investment for MSMEs is much higher than what you have in large enterprises. And you will also notice that in the last 5-6 years, the GDP has been growing at an average of between 5 to 7%. But it has not been inclusive because we've been growing without jobs. So the federal government is addressing that. And one of the strategies is by ensuring the development of MSME sectors. Because for every project you finance in the MSME sector, you create about 4 jobs, direct jobs. And then for each venture, you have indirect jobs arising from those who supply input to the firm and then those who also distribute the product of that firm. So you're looking at direct and indirect jobs when you finance MSME. So the multiplier effects are much, much higher. And it's only by when jobs are created that our people can earn employment, can earn income. The unemployment rate in the country is at about double digit now, and the objective is to bring it down to single digit. So we're looking at about 10 to 12 million people unemployed, looking at the workforce about 40 million. Although our population is 170 million, but those who are actively seeking engagement, seeking employment, according to the ILO definition, are about just 40 million of that. And a lot of them are youths who have just left school and don't have jobs. But a lot of them can do well by being entrepreneurs in the MSME space. So we're trying to ensure that we give them as much support as possible to become entrepreneurs in the MSME space. So that's why the MSME Directorate was established.
It has also been said that funding is no longer the #1 challenge of MSMEs in Nigeria, but managerial skills. Most of them lack managerial skills. How do you intend to fix this challenge?
Well, it's true. Typically, funds will run after good businesses, and managers of financial resources will not support businesses that are not promising, right? Businesses that are likely to fail will not enjoy funding. So SMEs that are well packaged, that are well structured, today will attract, will enjoy the support of the Bank of Industry. You are quite correct in terms of capacity. That's what the BDSPs are also supposed to do, to help build the capacities of our potential customers. And then we also have enterprise development centers all over the country. Moving forward, we are insisting that our potential customers must pass through those enterprise development centers before they can access the Bank of Industry's facilities. The ADCs are being run by the Central Bank. There are some by the Central Bank. There are some by the Pan-African University. And indeed, some